Yeah, I started out early with Jack Powers, as someone here in the audience did. And I remember actually the first reading that I gave was at one of those storefront places on Cambridge Street. And it just happened that there were some Russian poets in town. And I think Voznesensky was one of the poets. And they came over, they were reading at Harvard, and they came over because of, Jack and the poetry and everything. And I was the feature that night, and the thing that I remember was I started reading my poetry. Oh, and the poets came in, the illustrious poets, and there was a woman, that walked in right as I started reading my poetry, and she had a crutch, and she said, "This stuff is shit! This is the worst shit I've ever heard!" And I just had to sort of like step aside and let her do her thing. And afterwards, Jack told me, he said, "Oh, she comes in all the time. She does that to all of us." So I guess
Mom? No, sorry.
yeah. But it did kind of take me back. And then, of course, I had the years at T.T. the Bears. That was especially important for me to always have a place to come. And it was always so touching that Jack was always there. I mean, no matter what the weather. And I know that you are too, Chad. And so this is part of our history as people, the free speech movement and people reading their songs, their stories, their poems, their memories, their experience. So I'm very proud to be here, and it's a privilege, really. So, let's start. Oh yeah, this is one about the oral tradition, which I always feel that's so important for me, the songs, the stories, the poems. So what is this oral tradition? Oral tradition, prayers, utterances, invectives, jokes, questions, challenges, protests, resists, rebellion, rap songs, toasts, tall tales, fairy tales, tremblings, ramblings, rumblings, praises, love songs, cooings, sighings, citings, oaths, brags, boasts, preachments, epics, histories, blues, mumblings, mutterings, stutterings, clamorings, stammering, prophecies, pronouncements, auctioneering, hard sell, soft sell, the bargain, market cries, lullabies, cons, catcalls, healings, cross-cultural questioning, across-the-board questings, in earshot of global villagers, visitations, talismans, spells, protections, poems to honor the four directions, poems rooted in region and local color and seasons, poems to sing and drum to, passed down from generation to generation, first sounds, primal sounds, whispers, breath, hollers, poems to give us pleasure and poems to treasure, poems to measure the pain, poems so we don't have to explain, poems to reveal, poems for the tribulation, the trial, and poems for the celebration, poems that reveal, poems we lean into, and poems we lean out from, poems for the beginning, and poems for the end, poem for the mending, the ending, the spinning, the next inning, poems for gathering and sifting, hunting, seeking, stretching, running, fucking and muckraking, poems for rocking and poems for freedom seeking, poems for the wee ones and poems for the wizard, poems for the crone and poems for all alone, poems for the dark hour and poems for the high tower, poems to break the chains, poems to ease the loss, poems for choice, poems of discovery, poems to rejoice, poems for eros, poems for the flood, poems for rehab, recovery, poems from you to me and me to you, poems to get us over, and poems to get us through. And then, of course, we all have our different muses. You know, these events and people and things and seasons and faces, dear beloved faces, that are our muses. Muse. You're the one. You're the one. You're the one I searched the world for. The one I clothed in rags and feathers and mysterious beads from sunken treasures. Yes, you're the one. You're the one I followed home when Papa told me no, absolutely no. You're the one who keeps me waiting in frightening ports of entry, pulls me under, pulls off my outerwear, slips into me soundlessly, effortlessly, lisps, lullabies older than time or mama, older than trauma or boat of the dream, older than knife or seek a new life, older than shine or thine in time with mine. Yes, you're the one. You're the one. You're the one. Yeah. One day there was a giant shaking. We didn't know if the shaking came from above or below or beyond or between, but the force was so great that every little thing was born into being. The flowers came out for the very first time and rumbled in their roots. The mountains rose up and yielded to the sky, everything moving and following and sifting and gathering and crawling and lollygagging. It was at this moment, at this very moment, at this moment that the first human, the first very human children were hatched, hatched, hatched. Hush now, don't you cry, your mama love you by and by. Hush now, don't you cry, your mama love you by and by. When I first came here, I found my future free falling out of a blank sky, no moon. Oblivion covering me like a tarp, till, still slumbering and somehow lapsed, I slapped down, wised up, slapped down, wised up, slapped down, wised up, to the plausible earth, rising up too late for my rescue, revealing our true impartial partnership, our true impartial partnership, like an open map, like a well-used trap. Lovers, lovers, lovers in a free fall, lovers in a free fall, lovers in a free fall now. Lovers, lovers in a free fall, lovers in a free fall, lovers in a free fall now. So all these venues, these places that we go to, and I know that Stone Soup is going to find a great place. You know, it's just, there's a migration afoot, and you'll find another place, and then there'll be another place after that, because people find these places. So this is a poem that I wrote from the Walnut Street Cafe in Lynn, where I live, and it was at a very hard time after the Newtown terrible tragedy with the children. And I think that in times of these hard times for us, that we come together, just like places like here tonight. You know, we come together because this is what we have to do. Newtown mill fire ash. Wet, cold, pre-Christmas Sunday. We cannot find the ruby red heart of joy. We are advised to keep close to family, and we do. We stay in the hearth, in the heart, away from the troubles, away from the rumble. We are forest animals in outlandish clothes. We are not fierce. We do not tremble. We are waiting. Can you feel us? Inside our hut of straw and wheat, inside our ice dome, our yurt, our roundhouse, inside our cave, our cafe, but never, oh, never in the first grade classroom, soundless and still, no chalk smudge on blackboard, no marker on whiteboard, no construction paper, no cutouts, no coloring, no yellow paper with blue lines, no presents for teacher, no fish, no hamsters, no seedlings, no red Christmas flowers, no wrappings, no silver rustle of tinsel, no decal, no sticker, no glue sticks, no books about reptiles, no books about stars, only something asunder, unutterable, only the shrouds where real cocoons were waiting to catch caterpillars in spring so butterflies can come again. It's so quiet here. Where only days ago the children pushed together letters to make words and words to make worlds, those unknown sentences, and out of that the stories burst unattended, life-size, bigger than anything the big people had in mind. The children, their mouths swollen and overwhelmed with songs and stories and poems. Carry the children. Carry the children along out of the deep heart of sorrow, out further to the deep heart of the world, and in every street, back alley, country lane, mountain trail, avenue, and thoroughfare, let the people uprise and act as a people. Let the people rise up and act as a people. Last night I went to the Walnut Street Coffee Cafe in Lynn, Massachusetts, to be with my family of friends, mill fire ash playing, Christmas songs, sparkling lights, and candy cane posts, and red fleece stockings by the door, tiny lights creeping up the dartboard, and trailing over the stacked books, and way up, high to the board game called life. We are here, all at our tables, our stations, players and people all one, all in our chosen places, just like tonight, and held by our love of the work and our love of each other. And outside snow, John Waterman, Nick Zano, Adam Zampino, his wife, singer Michelle, Dickie Krause on the harp, and all night, like rain, the Christmas ache and Hanukkah chant, the outpouring of chestnuts roasting as usual by the usual fires. What can we do? What can we say? All at our tables, all at our stations, breathing out, letting in the ways that we do when we need each other, tight and lightly, to hold light and tightly. We sing our stunned heads off. We speak our broken hearts till nothing is left but the scent and residue of Newtown mill fire ash. Sometimes poems lead themselves into songs, or sometimes songs inspired something that we paint or draw or see or film. We're waiting at the human station. We're waiting for the train to come in. We're waiting at the human station. We're waiting for the truth to blow in. I can't forget the forest where we trekked, or the berries buried in the sweet meringue. I can remember skipping black and shiny stones while waiting at the human station for the sharp harangue, the salt of blues, the scent of music howling down my human door. We're waiting at the human station. We're waiting for the train to come in. So sometimes, in this poetry path, we have to do a little jog or a little different kind of dance. And I call this, do the step aside. Do the step aside. And let the new dance inside you breathe out and take a ride. And let what's there behind you take a ride and step aside, and surprise, you'll survive, maybe thrive. So step back and do the step aside. Then let what's here inside you do the step aside, and then we're ready to ride, ready to begin. So let the new dance weave and spin, and let the young dancers ride on in. On the crest you can rest, on the out, on the in. If you want to join us, be brave and slide on in and do the step aside. Do the step aside. Oh yeah, come on in and do the step aside, and surprise, you will shine. You will ride on in, and that's you on the ride of the rise and the fall of the wave. That's you. That's you and you and you and you and me and you and you. That's us. Ready to end, ready to begin. Do the step aside. Do the step aside. Come on in and do the step aside. Do the step aside. Ready to begin. What's in the boat? He asked. She would not answer. She was not ready to reveal the secrets in the hold. But when the time was right, one night he said, okay, then tell me, come on then, tell me. And then the story opened and the song began along the coastline and the trees and beyond the shadows of the blood-red moon. It sets out from port with the stranger at the helm, the boat of the dream. I know it's going to be cold. So, this poetry, at least for me, also has a lot to do with healing, the healing arts. And so this is a poem about that. The heavy object. Many times I heard the voice of the heavy object behind closed doors, through small holes across frontiers at dawn. Many times I was too pressed down to meet that heavy object, much less to move it. At those times I stopped, wanting a cool forest, its resting place, as my legs were so tired they could not carry me, and I slept, balancing small, perfect circles on the outside edge of my dreams. I turned and turned with that heavy object until it became green and manageable. until we could dance with each other, until we could call each other by our real names, until I could regain what I knew as a child, a real bird, a snail in the shape of a realizable mountain, a circle above, a circle below, and 3 roads leading to the sky, and the sky completely empty of any object, completely free. It's getting a little cold here, so I'm not going to go too much. All right. I like big, long poems, but I also like little haiku-type poems, because I like spreading things out. That's part of me as a poet. But I also love to bring things in. I like that condensation. It's pleasurable to me as an artist. So a lot of my poems are either like the haiku or the haiku as a form of that dee-dee-dee-da-da, dee-dee-dee-da-da-da-da, dee-dee-dee-da-da. Lobsterman predicts blood red moon last night means conflict on the sea. Lobsterman predicts blood red moon last night means conflict on the sea. Who is me and who is thee and so what? And so that's it, poetry. Blackbird, I always loved you. Wherever you chose to fly, now call home. Blackbird, I always loved you. Wherever you chose to fly, now call home. Hey, Danger, come on in. We're waiting for this dance to begin. Stand close to cutting edge next to safety side. I'll whisper in your inner ear, babe. It's been a seesaw slide riding together with you all of these years. Through weather and trauma and tussling and tears, babe. It's been a precarious balancing act moving alongside you, and that's a plain fact. So come on in, darling, and rev up my engine. Some call it poetry, some call it legend. Come on in, Danger. Settle down in my stable. Come in the front door and eat at my table. Play all of your card tricks and do not deceive me. I'll give you a call back, show you how to receive me. Call up your posse. Bring your security. Free fall from these shadows out of obscurity. The showdown is soon. The hour is late. The moment is now. The rhythm is fate. The lights are turned down all over the city. Don't show me remorse, regret, or self-pity. I know who you are, and I know what you do. So come on in, darling. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
Cops in the kitchen. There were cops in the kitchen that day, bigger than bassoons or tubas. They carried my cousin away. They said they had received complaints, she chanted, and worse, in a weird, wired language they could not comprehend. The men tramped around the premises, switching on the lights, terrifying dust and mice before they found her in the kitchen, chanting up a storm, ways to baffle men or stall the tide or make a stew. And when the cops came in, the mice scampered sideways, the dust billowed, the stew, onion swarms spilled upon the floor and burned the skidding souls of the cursing men. The cops blew whistles. My cousin laughed and split her side. The tears ran out to inundate the kitchen. of the infidels. Top Gun. This is in the persona of Top Gun. Top Gun. I always wanted to be one. I was so proud of my sound, the damage I could do making round. Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. My family called me the Inflictor. I wore my name like a badge. I called myself the Conductor. I wanted to be small, deadly, huge, dreaded, long-lasting, mean man. In the early days, I wanted to be clean man. I was rarely chosen for the Cold War, the Bold War. I wore my name like a badge. Call me Top Gun, Top Gun. Hands up, don't shoot. When the others called me Cry Baby, I said, later for you, bye-bye, baby. I wanted respect. I persisted. When they said I was a pussy, a sissy, I resisted. All in all, I wanted to be respected. Didn't want to be neglected. Didn't want to play the fool. Wanted to go to Top Gun school. Top Gun. Hands up. Wanted to be heard, wanted to be appreciated. If you didn't think like me, believe me, I retaliated. Call me, call me, call me. When last seen, was Truth wearing a sombrero, a beret, a pork pie, a war bonnet, hijab? Was Truth last seen in a flowered 40s dress from Sal's? Was Truth seen clanging a rusty, dusty Easter bell? When last seen, was Truth riding through Middlesex farms, sounding the alarm? Was Truth running from a burning building? Was Truth carrying a rag doll to Aleppo? Did you see Truth at the crossroads, howling to redo the last scene in the lost election? Was Truth interrogated at the border? Was Truth on a frozen streetcar to nowhere near the laundromat of old desire? Was Truth ever married to a special needs woman named Justice? Did Truth break parole and catch a freight to the coast? Was Truth caught in a trans-American sex trafficking scandal? Is Truth working for the people of an alien empire? Does Truth live on the edge of the Black Hills, the Badlands, the Sangre de Cristo? Does Truth hunker down, hide out in prehistoric minefields? Who declared Truth to be fake? While watching the news, was Truth shot by a firing squad, looking for Lorca, looking for Tristan in a rowboat, submerged in a stagnant swamp? Was Truth found drowning at dawn in a water tower? Does Truth have an undiagnosed mental illness? While walking uphill toward God, is Truth permanently disabled? Is Truth fake? Mama, 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 sweet mama, is Truth fake? Like they say. Dear Wheatstraw, he sings for the bones of young Trayvon Martin. Down by the crossroads, he sings for the bones. He stares straight ahead as he speaks up succinctly. No one owns the dead. He sings for the tears of 300 lost schoolgirls. Down by the crossroads, he sings for their cries. What's in the sack? All that's irretrievable, lost and cannot be found. He stares straight ahead as he speaks up succinctly. No one owns the dead. It's great to be with you on this very special night here at Out of the Blue Gallery. And thanks again, Chad, for inviting me. And I'll just give one last poem, which is this is a poem that I carry with me wherever I go. It's one of those, what do you call them, signature poems. And I think, Carol, you know this, because Carol Weston and I have traveled in so many different poetry paths, haven't we, over the years. And it's really great to see all of you. Dear beloved faces, house, earth, water, sky. La maison, la terre, l'eau, la lumière. La casa, la tierra, el agua, la luz. Ruma, bumi, air, langit, adama, bait, mayim, shemayim, ada, beit, moi, shemai. And the green, and the green, and the green, and the green, and the green goes over and over. The heart of the matter rests on the roof of the sky. We only go by. We only go by. And what is unfinished is always unfinished. And what is finished begins again. And the green, 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 and the green goes over and over. We are scared and sacred. We are scared and sacred. We are scared and sacred in the hoop of the world. And the green goes over and over. Give the love, give. Give the love, give. Give the love, 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 the lasting pleasure. Give it in full measure. Find the fruit. Be at the special spot. Beat the drum. Be here, be there, beware, beware, be here and there again, again and once again, bear it, wear it, we are it. What else do we have? We do desire it. And now, as a child holds a nighttime lullaby, we all become a part of loving. You hold me, I hold thee, he holds we. Held and holding, we are gathering in the light, the dark, the dark, the light, the light, the dark, the dark, the light. And the green goes over and over.